Straight to the world of car racing, as we saw the debut season, talking about the first race of the season in the Formula One calendar, and we went straight to Melbourne, Australia, where it was all about Lando Norris, who mastered treacherous changing conditions in a dramatic incident-packed race to beat Max Verstappen and win the Australian Grand Prix. Norris and his McLaren team made the right calls in a race punctuated by crashes, 3 safety cars, and an aborted start, as the Briton put together a statement drive at the start of a season he intends to end as world champion. Norris was forced to fend off a late threat from Verstappen, brought back into contention by a late safety car, but of course he held on to take his 5th career victory and his first of the season, first of the 2025 season, talking about the Australian Grand Prix. And I've got David Olayinka joining me right now to talk about the Formula One. Of course, he is the Formula One maestro, the man who would drive a car from Lagos to Ibadan in less than 20 minutes. And I wonder what magic he performs. Welcome to the show, David.
Yes, good morning, Luke. Good afternoon. Good to be on the show. Yeah,
great.
Exciting race weekend.
Right. Let's talk about the Formula One season. We all looked forward to the first season. I know we'll get to talk about Lewis Hamilton, but yes, Lando Norris. Were you surprised that Lando actually picked the Australian Open? Because a lot of fingers are pointing towards Max Verstappen, who had a bit of challenges during the qualifiers.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Going by what we saw last season, we saw Lando showing us that, you know what, I'm the real deal. I can challenge Max Verstappen to the world title. Max started the season last year on a very good note. Towards the end of the season, we saw him struggle, and if there were signs of things to come in 2025, we shouldn't be surprised at what we're seeing Lando Norris do so far this time around this season. We saw McLaren, the defending Constructors' champions, so definitely it wasn't no fluke. What we saw them do last season is just a continuation of them doing that this season. So Lando winning the race, I wasn't surprised, you understand? And what surprised me for Lando was that every time he had started in pole position last season, the first turn, with Max Verstappen being behind him, first turn, see Max Verstappen overtake, and in one way or the other, get around and win the race. So, yesterday, we saw Lando having learned from the mistakes of last season, sticking on. Yes, it was an incident-laden race. We saw the safety car come out over 3 times. We saw that rookies should have seen what Formula One is first time, with so many numerous crashes and all of that. And we saw the wet conditions coming. The rain was on and off and came back on again towards the end of the season. So tire decision from those changing from intermediate to slick. So all these things played a role in the race. So it was a good one for Lando. I'm so happy for him starting the season on a good high note. Unfortunately for his teammate Oscar Piastri, the homeboy, everyone was looking forward to him finishing on the podium as well, since McLaren had the 1-2 in qualifying. But unfortunately for him, those wet conditions just was against him. So he spun out and couldn't get to finish the race and finish among the points. So unfortunately for him. But Lando Norris, well-deserved victory for him ahead of Max Verstappen. We've got a season in our hands. So Max Verstappen should know that his title defense is under a lot of test right now. So we're in for an exciting season. I'm excited about the first race of the season. So much incidents in it. I'm excited, and that's what we should look forward to in the next couple of races in the 2025 Formula One season.
Yeah, talking about the rookies now, don't you think there was a thing of bother? It was more like a risky venture to take, having a couple of rookies feature in the Formula One, and they actually caused a lot of these crashes. There was a point where Lewis Hamilton's father had to go commend one of the rookies who actually raced in that on that track. Don't you think it is a bit too much for Formula One?
Well, 6 rookies making their bow in Formula One, or maybe 4 first-time guys. The other 2, Liam and the other guy, Antonelli, they've had substitute roles last season. So, but this is their first full Formula One season. So, out of all of them, the newbies, unfortunately for them, crashed out. We saw Anthony Hamilton go meet Hadjar and tell him that, you know what, fair enough, it's a mistake. One thing about Melbourne is that this isn't an official F1 track. It's a road track that's converted to F1. So sometimes you might miss some certain things, indications. So what happened to Hadjar in that first couple of laps of the race. So unfortunately for him, also another homeboy, Duhan, also got crashed out of the race. So the thing with the rookies are like, it's a good one for them to start off with. You understand? This is the real deal. This is Formula One, the highest. Most of them have raced in F2 from F2 champion, but totally coming up, into F1. And obviously, they see the difference. It's a whole lot different. The step up is very, very high, and they need to get in real quick. These guys are fantastic and they're talented. So there's no mistake with them stepping into F1. They can race in F1. They can hack it with the big boys. But you know what? First race of the 2025 Formula One season, obviously is going to be a bit dramatic for them. Also the wet conditions as well. So obviously this is their first full-blown F1 race debut. So obviously they would get to struggle a bit here and there. So it's a good one for them, a good baptism of fire for them. So going into China, Shanghai next weekend, they should know what to expect. So yes, unfortunate for them, but it's a learning experience. I would give it to that. So not too many rookies in my own opinion. These are talented guys. These are young guys who proven their worth, in Formula 2 and also in other race events. Also, some of them are substitute drivers last season. And look at Antonelli doing well, finishing in fourth position behind his teammate George Russell. So it was good for Antonelli. It's full 2025 Formula 1 season. So obviously finishing amongst the points and a good race for him. First race of the season. Fantastic. Doesn't get any better than that. So comedies of errors or mixed fortunes for the rookies, some so bad and some so well.
All right, so still talking about the Mercedes now, it's a bit of surprise because Lewis Hamilton left the Mercedes for the Ferrari, and now the Mercedes finished 3 and 4. Before Lewis Hamilton, he made his debut for Ferrari, finishing 10th on a difficult day in that Australian Open. And of course, we also looked at the 7-time champion who led on lap 46. But only because Ferrari had made the wrong decisions right there to stay out on dry weather slick tires as a heavy shower hits the track. Now he and teammate Charles Leclerc then had to pit as a safety car was sent out for the final time following a series of crashes and dropped to the bottom of the top 10. Now Hamilton was later overtaken by Leclerc on the final restart, struggling all through. Hamilton then lost a further place as McLaren's Oscar Piastri fought back from a spin that had cost him second place in the late rain. So what would you make of Hamilton's debut for the Ferrari? This is not his first time racing in Melbourne, but this is his first time racing in a different car. Talking about the Ferrari as compared to the Mercedes. Now the Mercedes finished 3 and 4, and Lewis Hamilton finished in 10th position. Should we say it was more like we should forgive him because it's the start of the season? And he also said there are lots of expectations from fans, but nobody should pressure Lewis Hamilton now.
Nobody should pressure Lewis Hamilton now. Who's saying that? Obviously, there's pressure. You're a 7-time world champion. You understand, it's been ages that he's won a race after dominating for so long. So coming to the longest 7 team in the history of the sport, or the Real Madrid of Formula One, like I love to call them Ferrari. So the pressure is definitely going to be high, and he's a man for the pressure anyway. So you shouldn't be surprised that pressure is getting to Hamilton at this stage. He's seen everything, so no pressure is big enough to overwhelm him. So him finishing in 10th position, decent, finishing amongst the points. Everyone expected better from him or higher from him, but like I said, the weather conditions just altered a lot of factors. The safety cars altered a lot of factors. Anytime the safety car comes out, it restarts everything, gives everyone more like an equal level of footing, you understand? Because you cannot speed once the racing car is out. You cannot overtake. Everybody has to maintain order. So in my own opinion, when they were out, leading the lap, you understand, and on the slick tires, and when the race came down again, the strategy altered. So had the race not come, obviously they would have stuck to the intermediate. So they had to change. So from slicks to the intermediate tires. So obviously it affected them, but they still finished amongst the points. Now the thing with Mercedes finishing 3 and 4, and unfortunately Ferrari finishing 8th and 10th is an irony, comedy of errors, because last season they were struggling a bit. It was Ferrari, McLaren and Red Bull all in the mix and everything. Now it's still early days. You can say, it's still Mercedes, Red Bull and McLaren, you understand, with Mercedes just tied on points in the constructors' standing so far after one race with McLaren. So it's a good one for Mercedes after last season's struggle and everything. They said they're going to put their acts together. And towards the end of last season, we saw them like, okay, yeah, getting some decent. Hamilton getting a win, a couple of wins last time out last year. Yeah. Same with George Russell as well. So, but the thing with Hamilton is that like everyone knew was leaving Mercedes. You understand? For Ferrari since over a year ago. So that's nothing new. So Mercedes doing well now and Ferrari struggling isn't anything we should be surprised. So you know what it was getting into. So but expecting the car to be more competitive. So Hamilton now saying that, okay, seeing that reality check that, okay, you know what, it's hard work here right now. So it's just the first race of the season. Still got a lot of more races to go. So obviously it's just a blip right there, but obviously he'll get himself together, get his acts together. Obviously the Ferrari car can get to perform, no doubt about that. This is a dream for every Formula One driver to race for Ferrari and doesn't get any bigger than that. Both of them are chasing history. Remember, it's been ages that Ferrari won a world title with a driver, and it's been ages that Hamilton has also won a world title. So obviously history in the making for Hamilton, the world to win his 8th world title, and no better team to do it than with a Ferrari, the most and the longest 17 in sport. So obviously it's a match made in heaven for both of them. Ideally, the most successful driver in the history of the sport so far, and one of the most successful teams in the history of the sport as well. So obviously they'll be hoping that that success on paper and history transcends to the track so they can get their acts together. So it's still the first race of the season. A whole lot of work still to be done for Hamilton. Yes, he's chasing, but early days. So the season is still long ahead of us. So anything can get to happen. You can't write off Hamilton yet. You can't write off Ferrari yet. It's still early days, like I said. So it was an incident-laden race. Good thing that both finished amongst the points there, and also good recovery from Piastri as well. From second finishing in 9th position, he could have finished with nothing, but still got something. So it's a good one. Going into China next weekend, everyone knows what they're getting into right now.
All right, so we'll be heading to China, and I hope that the weather condition will be very, very clear. Then I think that'll be enough for us to now judge how the season will go, because we don't like watching Formula One on wet tracks. We love to see them on dry tracks and taking charge of the tracks and finishing really, really strong. So I hope the rookies will do better in China. But of course, thank you very much, David, for joining us today. We'll surely have you again. I'm looking forward to the China edition. And hopefully, Ferrari fans and Lewis Hamilton fans will celebrate a 1, 2, or 3 podium finish in China. Thank you very much for joining.